Today we're going to make the jumping paper turtles. For this you'll need 2 sheets of paper, scissors, a pencil, a drinking cup, a glue stick or glue or the paste I showed you how to make in the last video, and 1 crayon. I'm going to use green. Let's begin. I'm going to begin by placing my glass in the center of the paper and carefully tracing around it. I'm going to place that one to the side. And on my next piece of paper, I'm going to place it up in a corner. That way when I cut it out, I can easily get to it. And I'm going to carefully trace around it. Now, I'm going to come back to my first piece of paper where I placed the circle in the center. I'm going to remember the old style clocks and clock faces that had numbers on them. And they would always have a 12 at the top and a 6 at the bottom. I would need to fit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 around here, which means 3 would be in the middle. And now I'm going to write 1 and 2 so that they're kind of even in there. And now I'll write 4 and 5 so that they're even in there. On this side, we would need 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I'm going to write the 9 here. I'll fit 7 and 8 in between, and 10, 11 in between there. And now I have like an old-fashioned clock face, and I'm going to draw a line straight up from the 6, not all the way to the center, but pretty close. The next thing I want to do is plan where the head of my turtle will go. It's going to go at the 12, and it's going to be the size of a very large thumb. I now want to plan the front legs of my turtle. They're going to go between 1 and 2 and be the size of a very large thumb. It's going to look too big for now because we're going to have to do some cut and fold, or some fold to make it jumpy. So trust me on that. Make it a little longer than you would expect it would be. And I'm going to do the same between 8 and 7 and 3 and 4. All right, now I've got my turtle planned. I'm going to put this aside for a moment and go to this one. This is going to be the back of the turtle shell. I'm going to go where I remembered the 6 was, at the bottom, and go up again, not all the way to the center, but pretty close. And this is the part I'm going to decorate, and I'm going to decorate that right now before I cut it out. It's a little easier to do. I'm just going to use 1 crayon to do the decoration, but I'm going to use different pressures, different values, so that it looks interesting. I'm going to start with my darkest value, and that means I'm going to press down pretty hard. I'm going to make triangles, but you can do whatever you want. So I'm going to put triangles all around. And I'm going to chase away all of the white color. So if I'm making a triangle, I don't want any white to be in there. So I'm going to chase it away with my crayon so that these look nice and complete. Okay, now rather than trying to stress out my hand, I'm going to just turn the paper to continue making my triangles. And I'm just going to speckle this turtle shell with lots of different sized triangles. And I'm using the strongest value I can get from this crayon. Oh, I like that. Now the next thing I'm going to do is use the crayon a different way. I'm going to press down very, very lightly and make kind of a curved shape. I'm just going to use the natural bend in my wrist And now I'm getting a lighter value. Now I want to keep using my hand this way, so I'm going to turn the paper, not my hand. And I'm going to keep the crayon moving so that everything touches very nicely so there's not gaps. And I'm going to turn again. And turn again. And turn again. And I'm keeping all of these crayon motions close together. All right, I finished that and I'm very happy with how that looks. Now this I pressed down as hard as I could. This I barely pressed down at all. So now I'm going to kind of do something in the middle. And this is a different value. They're not different colors, they're different values. So this is kind of a medium pressing. I'm not pressing down as hard as I possibly can. And I'm not going as light as I can. Okay, so now we've got 3 values. A very strong pressing, a very light pressing, and a medium pressing. And I'm going to get my scissors. Now a good way to cut out is to move the paper, not the scissors. So what I like to do is I put my thumb in the top. So I've got my scissors like that, and I've put my thumb in the top, and then 2 fingers underneath. And then I'm going to place this whole thing by my belly button. And I'm not going to move it away from my belly button. And when I use the scissors, I'm not going to use the whole thing today. I'm just going to use this cutting edge right here to make small, small snips. So I've got my scissors in place and I'm not going to move them at all away from my belly. Instead, this hand is going to act like a steering wheel to turn the paper. And when I'm ready to make a cut, I'm just cutting down the tiniest little bit. This is a good way to get good scissor control and to make sure the cuts are happening right where you want them. All right, there's my scissors, or there's my turtle shell, and I'm going to put this piece of paper away. I'm going to use that later for something else. And now I've got my turtle shape. I'm going to start by putting my scissors at my belly, and then I'm going to gently guide all this extra material through. And I'm still just using the tiniest front of the scissors. Now this turtle will be easy to get to with the scissors. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And I've got some space here I can cut away, so I'm going to do that next. And a little space here I can cut away. Now it's time to do this. I'm going to continue using this hand as a steering wheel, and I'm going to belly cut with this pair of scissors. So I'm keeping my scissors, the hand right on top of beside my belly button, and I'm going to steer through with this. And there's my turtle and my pile of scraps that are all nice and neat. I'm going to take these away and clean up my space. Why don't you go ahead and do the same? You can get that out of your way. Remember those slits we drew? Now's the time to pick up our scissors and we're going to cut on that line. These 2 lines should be about the same amount in length. Now I'm using a purple glue stick. You can use glue from the bottle or paste that we made, or you could even use tape or a stapler if you want to. Whatever you've got on hand. And I'm going to pick this up, and now you'll see it can bend. I don't want to bend it too much, just a little ways, like that. So I'm going to pick one part to be the top and one part to be the bottom. It doesn't matter which one you pick. On the one you choose, add some glue. I used purple glue so you could definitely see what I was doing. Now I'm going to pick it up and bend it and place the side without glue on top of the glue. And I'm going to pinch that patiently for a little while. I'm going to do the exact same thing on this shape. I've cut my slit and now it can bend. So I'm going to place a little glue on one of the sides at the 5 and I'm going to pinch that. I can do the same thing on my turtle head if I'm very careful. I can cut a slit in the middle, and now it's broken. And I'm going to put a little glue on one of the sides. And I'm going to bring that around. Let's see. And pinch that. And now that gives him a little bit more shape to his head. I think I'll cut off this little area where it doesn't match very well. There. The next thing I'm doing is I take my crayon and I'm drawing a line and a line on the turtle's front leg. The first line, the top line here, I'm going to bend backwards. So it's hidden. And now there's another line I haven't done anything with. I'm going to fold that forwards. So his leg is kind of all bunched up. But when you pull it out, you'll see that now his leg can stand. So for this leg, I'm actually going to use 2 different colors to make it easy to see what I'm talking about. I'll use, let's see, blue to draw the bottom line and red to draw the top line. I'm going to turn him over and bend the red line back. So you're looking at the bottom of my turtle. And now I'm going to take the blue line and press it forward. And now the leg. He's now standing on his 2 front legs. I'm going to do the back legs the exact same way. I'm first going to draw a blue line. And I'll go ahead and do this leg too while I'm at it. And I'm going to draw a top line. And now I'm going to fold, I'm turning it upside down. I'm going to fold the red line back. And now the blue line goes forward. And the same over here. I'm going to fold so now that the red line is back. and the blue line is forward. And when I turn him, my turtle's now standing up on his legs, and I think I'm going to take his head and bend that up as well. Okay, so we've got our happy, springy little turtle here. And all that's left to do now is to glue his turtle shell on top, so it will fit on his turtle. He's trying to get away from me. Okay, so I'm going to get my glue stick. I've got my glue stick, and I'm just going to put glue on each of the numbers around the clock. And maybe a little up here on the sides. And take my turtle shell. I'm going to try to line up where I put those pencil lines to cut the slit. Okay, so we've got our little hopping turtle. And now if you want to get your crayon out, you might have fun giving him some eyes. Just be really gentle in your coloring, and then it will go on smooth and easy. If you color using your wrist just that way, instead of big arm motions all over the page, especially if you're in 2nd or 3rd grade, you can do that without moving your hand much at all. And if you keep the crayon movements very close together, you get a nice, even application of color. The fun thing about the turtle is if you practice a little, you can get him to jump. So I hope you have fun with this project, and I will see you next week.